All right. One more. This time it's Glock. So hopefully this goes well. Number one, sorry about the lighting. We lost one of the lights. So if it's a little weird with the lighting, it's because we lost one light. All right. Real quick, happy Memorial Day, although I'm in Canada, so that doesn't matter for us. Okay, Glock. I haven't done any, I don't think I've done any Glock yet. So I think my whole thing about Glock is, hey mom, my whole thing about Glock, one, it's really touchy, and it responds really well and really aggressively, in my opinion, to any strokes that you do on it. Or any mallets you choose, or the type of shaft you use for the mallet, the length of the shaft. So I'm always trying to lessen the amount of attack that is produced on the Glockenspiel, and trying to get the fullest and ringiest sound. Although it's a Glock, so it rings, but you can obviously make it ring more or less based on how you strike it. So two things I usually do in my prep for anything I do on Glock is that I always practice very slow full strokes going down, and then really fast upstrokes going out of the stroke. So the slow stroke already kind of mitigates the speed of attack, helps with the weight distribution of the attack of the stroke, and so it warms the articulation on the Glock. So instead of having something like, you have more of a like, that kind of thing. So normally if you had like a, let's see, it's like too fast, but you have that kind of thing, and it's like you're kind of like jabbing at it instead of having a softer, slower, smoother attack. So it just cushions the articulation a little bit. So then if you want more articulation, you could either lessen that or increase it if you want. So I work really hard doing that because it's a lot of energy for my forearms, and I have to be very conscious of how my body's reacting, making sure I apply as much weight as I can to every single slow stroke and pulling out at the same time. So it's weird. I'm working so hard to essentially to make the thing not ring too much and also not to sound ugly. So I guess some things I usually would do are really slow, heavy strokes. And as soon as you have something like that, it increases the volume. So if you want a faster stroke, you need a even more heavy. Let's see, if you want a faster stroke, you need an even more up afterwards. So it's really just kind of understanding how the Glock responds to every stroke that you give it. So a lot of experimenting, and also especially with how you hold the mallet. For me, I hold, let's see. Yeah, I have all of my fingers basically on the stick, but the stroke, it depends on where I'm actually throwing from. So sometimes I'm throwing from here to get a brighter sound, but with all my fingers on the stick, it'll still have a warm character, so it won't be too crass. If I only had these, it would be like it's already a little bit more crass in that attack. So I have all my fingers on the stick to keep it cushioned. And then if I want to change the weight even more, I can either throw from here for a really heavy stroke, here for not so heavy, here for a more general, and here for a super bright. Cool. So that's a lot on why I do what I do with this. As far as mallets go, I highly recommend rattan or these, I think these are fiberglass or something like that. These types of mallets, because of their flex. The more flex you have in the mallet, the easier it is to get a good sound, and the better the Glock will respond. I don't use birch on Glockenspiel. It sounds bad, and I think mostly because of the rigidness of a birch shaft. It doesn't have enough reflex and flexibility for the mallet to actually spring off. So you're stuck doing all of the spring. No, those are Freer percussion mallets, I believe. Actually, Dragonfly and Freer make those types of mallets that I use. I have both kinds. I think Dragonflies are, I can't remember which ones, but both are the same technically material, but one's slightly warmer and a little softer than the other. So I get both because one has the same character but with a brighter articulation, and the other one has the same character but with a warmer articulation. So I have a ton of Glock mallets because this thing is so testy. Like these, if you guys can ever find on eBay or anywhere else, the Mustard 215s. You probably can't see, it's probably backwards. Mustard 215s are a must-buy if you find them anywhere online, within reason. They don't make them anymore, unfortunately. So if you can find them, get them. Get 2 pairs. I'm lucky that I got 2 pairs when I did. Yeah. Speaking of mallets, like I said, I have a ton. Like I have the Mustard 215s. They have a very general and warmer articulation. I don't know if you can hear out there, but it's like really mellow here. And then like a Freer percussion would be a little softer, even more mellow. And then I think this is a Dragonfly. I'm not entirely sure. I think this is the Dragonfly one. No, I think this might be the Freer one. So it just depends. I would get a lot of Glock mallets if you can. And I think generally I use a lot of Dragonflies most often. Actually for this job I used almost all of the Dragonflies except for one mallet that I needed for sorcerers. So yeah, they come in clear Lexan, I believe, and that could actually be a couple things. Like this would be the clear Lexan that you would get, and then definitely a black plastic. If you can find a black plastic in 2 different sizes, one big, one small, that'd be really dope. So like Dragonflies, I think these are both Dragonflies. There's one size and there's a smaller size, so you have same character but different types of engagement with the bar. So this will engage it more because it's heavier and bigger. This will engage it less and have brighter overtones, which is really helpful for a lot of things. I really like Glock. Hey Ben. And then, yeah, I have a ton of black plastic. And then finally, I have a ton of aluminum. I don't have as many brass just because normally, depending on the Glock, you might damage the Glock because of how dense the brass is. Occasionally it is really good because it has a nice warm tone to it in general with the bright articulation. So it comes in handy for a lot of things. Actually, I would highly recommend getting the Freer brass ones because they're a smaller ball. So you get the same character, but it's not as like beefy, and it won't dent the Glock as much. Also, if you lift off, it won't dent the Glock as much either. Yeah, no, I really don't like downstrokes on Glockenspiel, and I feel the same way about timpani. I kind of play Glock the way I play timpani, honestly. I don't do downstrokes on Glock. It's very, very rare that I'll do a downstroke. So I recommend not doing downstrokes on, because you just get like a not good sound. Let's see. And actually, I really highly recommend the smaller version of the Dragonflies. These are really nice. Actually, I used these for my audition here. The conductor wanted something sparkly and not as ringy for some reason. Not as ringy and like bright but warm at the same time. So these were like the perfect combination of all of those. I love these mallets. So yeah, that's a little bit of mallets. As far as the other reason I highly recommend getting a ton of mallets is because there's a lot of different types of Glocks. So this Glock, the bars are like this, pretty thin-ish. They do come thinner, so be careful. The thinner the bar, the easier it is for them to fall and jump off the frame. So depending on the Glock you end up playing, you have to change your motion and your striking pattern. So for this Glock, this can kind of take a good amount of weight, so I can kind of lay into it a little bit. If there was a thinner Glock, I'd have to do a ton of upstrokes and be very light with my touch, so I couldn't use as much weight. And then there's wide bar Glocks where you have to engage the entire bar, which means it takes a lot of weight or energy from the forearm, so you got to be careful with that. And then with wider Glocks, sometimes you can't use small balls like this because it just sounds like a tick. It just sounds like that. So I like having a ton of options, almost as many as I have with Xylophone. Xylophone is not as, I don't need as many mallets, but Glock, you need a ton just in case. Like I have, like even when I was in college, I would have 3 different sections of Glock mallets, one for wide bar, one for like this type of Glock, and then one for small, very thin bar Glocks. So whenever I had an audition, I'd be like, okay, what kind of Glock do they have? Do they have a wide bar? Okay, I'm gonna use this bag. Like, you get kind of obsessive after a while. So yeah, get a ton of mallets. Everybody has really good mallets. I use Dragonfly, Freer. What else do I have? What's this? Innovative. This is a very old James Ross Innovative mallet. This is a really thick rattan shaft, still flexible, but it's really warm just because of the weight. So I like having those around. And then what else do I have? This is a Malitech one, even more plastic, even more plasticky material. So it's really bright, but also has that thick shaft again to keep it warm. So I really like these mallets. I use these a lot in Pittsburgh whenever I played Glock. So yeah. Also, it's good to have, again, it's good to have a ton of mallets. But you'll find in some circumstances that a lot of orchestras either lean towards like a more broad sound, so you can use like plastic or metallic. Others lean towards more plastic sound where it's not as crass. They don't like having too much articulation, so you use a lot of black plastic, Mustard 215s. Fine, someone was calling me. Let's see. Are you using? All you need is 48 mallets. Inside joke. So you want to be able to match those colors that you end up finding. If you play Lemaire, like you gotta. Oh man. Like it just depends on your your tastes and what the piece is going to be asking you for. So Lemaire is like very sparkly for me, but it's also super warm at the same time just because of the atmosphere. I think that's the English horns playing that. So I want to be able to match that color but still have the character of a glockenspiel. So you have like So that might be too bright. Something like that. So these are really small dragonflies. So if I don't like that, then you have, I think the way that people normally would do it is having a softer mallet and then switching over to a brighter mallet for the little waterfall afterwards, after this section. So this is like really warm and super. That kind of thing. I don't like switching, again, just because I like having the same character of color throughout the entire excerpt. So what I'll do, I think, what did I do? I used, oh, where are they? Here, one, nope. I have a couple that look exactly the same. You know, I think it's in my other bag. I once had a pair of aluminum mounts tinted. Yeah. I'll get to that question in a second. I'm going to see if I have the other bag. Let's see. Generally, I would say that any... Oh, here we are. Okay, I would say that any type of metallic mallet will run the risk of denting the bar. But you can mitigate that with the way you actually strike the instrument. And also, it depends on the type of Glock it is. Like for these have probably been played a ton so far, and they have not been dented. I don't know how many times they've used metallic mallets on here. I know I've only used metallic mallets on this Glock a couple times, just because of the type of pieces we've done. So I usually lean towards a type of plastic. But yeah, I usually go for metallic mallets for very specific things. Like Sorcerers, the waterfall, that you gotta cut through the ensemble. So it has to be, you have to hear the articulation, it's really bright and has that character. So if I can get away with using a plastic mallet, then I will. Just because I don't have to work as hard to mitigate the articulation it gets. Cool? Hopefully that helped. Yeah, I went in my bag and I found more mallets. So here's some more plastic mallets for you. That's my other. Yeah, so I ended up using these bad boys. The Freer K14s. These are super cool. Like they have a brass insert, so that also adds to the weight, giving it a lot more warmth and character. So in order to get more articulation, I had to play a little bit more quicker stroke out of the instrument. That kind of thing. And again, you want to have, it takes a lot, it's a lot of work because you're managing every single motion and every single stroke type in order to get a very warm sound on every beat. And it's a lot, it's a lot. So you end up having like very slow, and then you have to practice making sure you actually connect with the instrument so you're not missing it. Like if you ever had the situation where you're playing Sorcerers and then you go to play the double, like you have that kind of thing, you need to make sure you make contact with the instrument. So a lot of tap strokes going super up, slowly up, or quickly up, that kind of thing. Great answer. Oh, no problem. Yeah. I kind of regret not pulling all of these out. Alright. So that's all. Oh, there's a triangle beater. Yeah. So that's all of those mallets. Oh, here are my Okay, I found a pair of mallets that I live and die by for Magic Flute. I think these are the Jim Ross OS6s, Innovative Percussion OS6s. I love these mallets. These are my favorite mallets, I think. These are so cool. Yeah, they just have a... I really like these mallets. They just feel really good in my hands. Haven't played that in a while. It's like, they're so cute. Yeah, so I highly recommend y'all get these. These are really good. I like them mainly because wherever I hold it, it responds like immediately and very drastically with the sound. So up here it's going to be super bright. And if I hold it all the way back here, it's going to be really dark. Like it has more of that downstrokey character to it. So like these are really nice. Yeah. Cool. Let's see. I guess I could talk about excerpts now, which is weird. I haven't been playing Glock or really anything in a while. Just been resting. So sorry if I miss any notes. Let's see. Speaking of Magic Flute, what brand are they again? Okay. So these are Innovative Percussion OS6s, I believe. Orchestral Series number 6. They're light, very small, and they're gray. And I really, really like these mallets for soft character things. Honestly, I think I use these for the finals here for Lemaire. Again, I don't like changing mallets just to keep a similar color, and I was able to change the color with these mallets without having to switch mallets. So I would have a warmer tone for these. And then for the bright, very bright, that kind of thing. So I really like these because they were easy to play with. Yeah, so those I highly recommend. For general loud, I would get Freer K15s. I'm not being sponsored by anyone. Yeah, K15s are the red ones. I love these. These are really nice if you don't want to use aluminum. These would be my next step, probably. Either these or the Dragonflies. Super warm character, which is why I bought these. The Freers are a little brighter. These are so warm. It's great. I love these mallets. Yeah. Yeah. Again, if you can find the Mustard 215s, buy them immediately. They don't make them anymore, so if somebody's selling them, buy them. And then having black plastic like I showed you, I would highly recommend the Dragonfly. Which would you think are good to switch from style to Glock? Okay, so speaking of Dragonfly, I wonder where they are. Oh, they might be in this trunk actually. Hold on one second. So Dragonfly, I know a couple people make mallets for that specific thing, but I know Dragonfly made one that I really, really like. And I think it's in this. Let's see. Those are Freers. Those Those are sus-symbol mallets. I guess I don't have them in here. Okay, well, they're on the custom side of their website. Let's see. And they're white, and they have a super warm character on. They actually sound a lot like the Muscle 215s, slightly even warmer just because of how they're built. So if you can find those on their website, I would recommend those for switching back and forth. If you want something a little brighter on the Glock, you could switch to like a normal plastic, like not a black plastic, but just like a normal plastic mallet to go between Glock and xylophone. This is a normal Freer K6 that could go between each. Gets the job done on the Glock. Yeah, any plastic mallet that's not black plastic, you can use between both. But I know the specific one that I like is the Dragonfly one, just because it has a really nice warm character on a Glock, and it has a nice bright color on a xylophone. So it gets to the opposite. It gets to the opposite effects that you would want on both. Like you want a warmer sound on Glock, warmer sound on xylophone. You probably wouldn't use that mallet. Okay, yeah. Speaking of brass, here are my only brass mallets that I brought with me. Old Freers, like ProMark Freer, I think, when he was working with ProMark. Yep. Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have those mallets. Now I'm wondering where they are. All right. Okay, now I'm going to do the extras. All right. I'll start with Mozart. Where are my favorite mallets? I think they might have rolled over. Maybe not. I wonder where I put them. Oh well, I'll start with something else until I find. Oh, there they are. Got them. All right, Magic Flute. The thing I think about Magic Flute is that I want it to sound like a celeste and not like a Glock, because it's supposed to be a celeste, or, you know, finger-played Glock. So having more of a hammer-like sound, but with the character of a piano, so it has like cushion on it. So you have a heavy stroke, but it's slow, so it's not going to be too much energy into the bar, and then a lot of fullness. So you want something. This is like really mellow. If you want something more articulate, then you can add a little bit of spring to your stroke. This is like a little bit more ping in the fulcrum. Again, I haven't played these in a while. Let's see, and then, with phrasing, I guess you could have a couple options. You could focus more on that kind of thing. So you have like more going, let's see, you have loud, soft, loud, soft, loud, soft, you know, that kind of thing. So you have those split into two different phrases. That kind of thing. I don't like splitting them so drastically, so I have like more decrescendo on the end, so like that kind of thing, instead of having da 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 da, you know. Cool. Yeah. And then the phrase happens twice, so normally people play the first phrase louder and then the second phrase softer, just because at the second phrase the singers begin to sing. So you show that you know that they're singing. The other thing you could do is, the thing I would not recommend doing is doing rubato in this because of how the piece is structured. So don't start going like don't do that. Or doing something weird at the end. Like just listen to a recording, you'll be fine. Okay, so for that part, I do, again, this is my right hand, so this is switch for you guys, but I do a double from the D natural to the F sharp. So I do left, right, left, double to get there. And I just kind of have that structure for that whole passage. I know some people do like having crossing over. That's a little hard for me, so I don't do it. It's hard in two ways, just getting there. So if I'm trying to just get there, I'm not having as much control of my stroke. So I want to have complete control of my stroke, so I want to make sure. For that one, I actually do, so I can keep this one. Cool. So those are some tips. Oh, the other thing is debating whether or not to do the excerpt up the octave like it's written or down the octave. And obviously, if you have some people would say if you have the note at the top, the D natural at the top, do it at the top. Occasionally, very often we won't have this range available to us, so we always do it down the octave. Cool? Either way is right. Just play it good. Play it well. All right. That's that. Let's do sorcerers. I'll do this with all the melodies I've ever used. And you may or may not hear the difference, but at the very least I'll have done it. All right, and then we got, all right. So, forgot one. All right. Sorcerers, just play it good. Okay, so these are all the mallets I've ever used for sorcerers. And they are all for different reasons. Okay, so starting with the first part. Number one, don't play it fast. Because the cellos are going you know, something like that. So you don't want to go dee da 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 dee da da like no. So you want to make sure you're playing it at a solid, safe tempo that a cellist won't go like, oh, why? No, I'm not going to do that. You know, so. Oh! I was hoping the light would come back on. Okay. So yeah, those were the dragonflies. I love these because they have a really nice warm character. They're bouncy as all, you know, they're really bouncy and I love it. So yeah, they are, when I get to the that part, I do have a tendency, for me personally, I have to play it more flat to keep the rebound from not being too much for my control. So I have to play a little flatter, which helps because that type of motion helps it keep it warm. So the faster I go, the flatter I have to play. And I have to play more like this type of stroke with my forearm, with that kind of motion with the wrist, instead of this type of stroke with just the wrist. This will have a brighter character than this. So I usually, for Glock, I'm a lot of this with a lot of loose wrist. So it's not just this motion with a locked wrist. It's not that. It's a loose wrist with a lot of arm. Okay? So this stays loose, so it has that flex. So it's not like this, and it's not like this. It's something in between. Okay? Okay, I'm done with that. So that's those mallets. That's how I would play with those. And for years, everybody was using well, at least in Chicago, everybody was using these Muster 215s just because of how warm and how it was. These are great. Actually, I think Dragonfly's the xylophone to Glock mallet sounds a lot like these, and I love them. And then Freer also has a mallet. I can't remember which one it is that he fashioned after this one. And then, yeah, so you have options besides just the Muster. Okay, and again, these are super warm, so they have that nice character. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of loud. Yeah, so I love these. People tended to not like them sometimes in certain halls just because of how mellow the articulation was, so it ended up sounding kind of muddy. So, you know, to your discretion, you know, these will be a lot mellower articulation. The black plastic will have a little bit more articulation without adding crassness. And let's see, I absolutely love these Dragonfly mallets. I think these might be on the customs, but I'm not sure. They might have moved. These are excellent. I love these mallets. They're with a gray strip at the bottom. I can't remember what they're called, but I buy these. Okay. So they're nice in between. A lot brighter, but still have a nice warm character. And because they're a little brighter, I need to mitigate it more, so I have to have an even slower stroke. That's why I'm missing notes right now. I have to practice with these to do it. So yeah, I'm all about keeping the articulation first a general smooth articulation and having the option to increase it to have it more bright or decrease it to have it more mellow. So with these, I'm trying to figure out a way to have that sound all the time. That kind of thing. So these are a little harder for me to do that with, but I have used these in auditions before. And what I ended up using for this audition, because he specified having a shimmery color, were aluminum, the ones I talked about a little bit earlier, the small aluminums from Dragonfly. These were perfect for that. And again, I think the trends, again, are having a mellower mallet for the introduction of sorcerers in auditions. But, you know, if you can do the same thing with these and it sounds dope, do it, you know? Just kind of know your audience, know the hall. Will these be too bright for that hall? And again, people you'll notice too, we're not just, now I'm going to rant. We're not just going to be playing for percussionists. We're going to be playing for a lot of different other musicians, people who have a certain idea of what Glock sounds like to them. And normally, people think of Glock as shimmery, very bright, you know. So if you have something like Sorcerers, they might have that inclination to be like, oh, okay, I expect to hear a brighter tone, or I expect it to be ooh, sparkly or whatever. Sound like it would sound in an actual performance. You wouldn't play Sorcerers with a clear Lexan to be I'm gonna play it mellow first. No, it's not gonna set you know, it has to have some articulation to it. So it's to your discretion if you want to use something with a lot of articulation and it sounds good to you. You know, make sure it's appealing to the audience, because this might be a step more than some people would do, but if you can do it well, that's fine, you know? If you can convince them that and again, I think it's a combination of mellowing out that already present articulation from a metal mallet, Because if somebody hears all, like I was using, like all they're hearing is the articulation and not the actual tone. So you want to make sure like you're being appealing to the audience. So if you're going to use that mallet, you need to make sure you can mitigate that articulation. Unless, of course, they specifically ask for something that sounds like that, in my case. So, yeah, cool. Rant over for that. Waterfall time. Not the jelly juice kind. Don't look up jelly juice. How's this go? Okay. So this is one of those instances where you need articulation, because it's just going to be all, you know. So if you're going to go plastic, I would go with the black plastic and something bright on the brighter side, maybe not as heavy, just so you get that more, you get more high overtones. You can add weight with your arm, obviously, but if you're going to do that, just make sure that you have a slow stroke again, so you're not just digging into it. Oh, they're all over here. I'll have to post a picture of this just so y'all can see this. All right, 1, 2. Dragonflies. For a while I was using these just because, again, I wanted to appeal to a very broad audience, so they had articulation but not like as much as an aluminum. So it's like a nice sweet sound, you know. It's not like yeah, it's more just like yeah. So yeah, if you're gonna go more like that kind of sound, I love aluminum. Has that natural brightness to it. If you're gonna do brass, I would get a smaller one, just so it's not as punchy, and it still has that warm tone to it, but it has a nice sweet articulation to it. I don't have the ones I usually would use. They're back in Pittsburgh, unfortunately. So cool. Tempos with that kind of range. So in normal performance practice, it kind of slows down a little bit, like that kind of thing. So either you're going to do that, or you're going to play at the same tempo as you play at the beginning. So you know, it's either going to be one of those two. Don't play it faster, and don't play it like dee da 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 dee da 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 da. You know, I know there's at least one recording that does that. So listen to like 5, and maybe you won't find it. But one does do that, where it's like super drastic, which is cool. Like, it's cool that they do that. But normally it's one of the other two. Cool. So do that for the audition. Learn and memorize the entire piece of music. Like, it's easy to do. Including the, let's see. I forget which notes it is. After. Oh, for that one, if you have the D natural on top, play that. Cool. Okay, so for that one, I love doing this one thing, and I've done it ever since I started learning this piece. So the first time you hit that E natural is fine, and then you amp it up for that one. So you're doing like like that kind of thing. I love doing that. It's like cool. Yeah, da da. You know, instead of like da dee dee da dee dee. No, da dee dee da dee dee. So cool. yeah. Yeah, I love playing that. Oh, going back to the waterfall. So I'm skipping around a little bit. Back to the waterfall. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so for the trill, digga 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 dee, digga dat. So 3, 1, 2, 3. So I'm doing like, let's see, one. So I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, digga dat. Sometimes, depending on the day. I'm trying to do 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm trying to do that. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I just try to get to the digga dut. Cool. All right. That's Sorcerers. Let's see, what's another one? Oh, I guess I'll do another soft one. Let's see. Talking about slow strokes, if you do Petrushka. Oh, the other thing about Petrushka, make sure you don't play it too fast. Dee dee da 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 dee dee da 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 da. Yeah, that thing kind of going on because there's a lot of fast stuff going on. So you don't want to be like dee dee da 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 dee dee da da. No, it's not in one. Dee dee da 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 dee dee da 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 dee 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 da da. And even I'm still a little cautious even playing it that fast. You get the idea. Slow strokes, very warm and full, like. And whenever I have a doubled note like a dee dee da da da, I always phrase away for those. Not that much. Or you can have da dee da 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 da. You know, it's dee da da dee da. You know, it's like a lullaby. You know, play it for a baby. Cool. Yeah, I really like that excerpt just because it's so mellow and like. And then you would do the similar thing for. Again, it's trying to keep the same color. So some people do doubles for those. I don't like doing doubles just because I don't. But I like having that very like swimming way. I don't know how to swim, but swimmingly way of playing it. So I have to move fast enough to get to the note to also slow down my stroke when I get there. So it's fun. It's a little hard, but it's fun to do it. Cool. So that's Petrushka. If you want more articulation, another softer plastic, mellower mallet. Again, these are Freer K14s, so these can also work a little brighter. I might have used these at this audition. I forget. I should start like taking notes of what I use when I use them. Because it's so fluid sometimes. Yeah. So again, a clear Lexan will work. Clear Lexan with a brass insert will work. Anything soft plastic or more softer plastic with a brass insert or just a softer plastic. So you got 4 options basically. Yeah. Loud stuff again. Let's do pines. So pines I've used the Dragonflies, I've used the Freers, And yeah, that's about it. Dragonflies and Freers, that's what I've used in the past. I've either used the Dragonfly Black Plastic for plastic. Again, the Freer K15s for plastic. And then the two options were the aluminum from Freer or the aluminum from Dragonfly. Now, why I really like these aluminum mallets is, for some reason, I don't know if it's just the way my mallets are, but this aluminum is softer in texture than this aluminum. So I have both, just in case I want a mellower sound. And again, that could also be because of the fact that these are rattan shafts, so it'll be a lot warmer and darker, and these are fiberglass, so it'll be a lot brighter. Cool? The easy thing about this is just starting, because you just hit the note, you know. And the thing to be careful about with this one, I would say, is when you're on the beginning, softening your touch for the lowest notes, because as you get down here, you get that kind of like punchy sound because of the length of the bar and just the overall tone. So I usually get really arm strokey there. So I don't have like this going on. Cool. I don't know if you can hear the difference, but it's a lot more crass with that, without changing the stroke at all. Cool. Again, learn this entire excerpt, the entire part. The grace notes have to be open, just like the woodwinds would do. You know. And then again, like with sorcerers, usually this part is a little slower, not too much. So don't go da 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 da. No, it's usually da 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 da. It's just a little bit putting the brakes on a little bit. Cool. I haven't played this in a while. So there are a ton of options for that run that I just missed. That's how you do it. So me personally, I've done it 3 ways, I believe. And let me make sure I can see myself. So yeah, okay. So I've done it 3 ways. I've done it right hand lead, with the right hand having the mallets, the 2 mallets. Cool. So I've done right, left, and then I rip my right hand back into the for the A and E natural. So that's what I do. So I double the left hand from the D natural to the C sharp. And I did that for the longest time. I think I did that all of my college undergrad, doing that, or even before. Well, when I was learning it, I think I did it that way too. I can still do it. For some reason, this motion was really comfortable and automatic for me. It's not as automatic anymore because of old habits. So I choose not to do it anymore, just because it causes too much of a static motion, and it's very aggressive, and it doesn't flow into the way it should land in my case. So if you do the same thing, you have the same exact sticking, right, left, right, and instead you have the left hand going underneath the right hand for the E natural, and the A and C sharp are played by the right hand. And again, I try to keep it mellow, so I have it very warm, and I do a lot of energy from my forearm. Cool. The other way people do it is the same thing, but you use the outside mallet for the C sharp. If you can get it to sound really like present, that'd be cool. Just because of the position, my left hand doesn't feel as free, so I don't do it that way. The other way to do it is doing all of those options with these two in the left hand, so I don't do that. Find someone who does. But yeah, I'm sure like the same ways can work with this. I would just have to figure it out, which I don't know how to do it. At least right now. Let's see. Oh, there's a little bit of slight leeway, which I don't like doing with that run. In the music, the run starts on beat 3. 1, 2, 3, yacht. 1, 2, 3, 1. Okay? Oftentimes, people started slightly early just to fit the notes in. And me being obsessive, I don't like doing that. So I'm always like digga da da digga da da digga da da dee digga da da do dee da do dee ya da. Cool. Digga digga da. So I don't like 1 2 3 1 2 digga digga da da. I don't like doing that. It's harder, but it's what's in the piece, and you don't want to get knocked off or like, oh, they came a little early. You don't want to give them any excuses. Cool. And the other thing about that is debating whether or not you want to stay in the position of the first hit after the run or switching. If you decide to switch, you need to have the same type of stroke in every position. So if you have, for mine, if you have your outside mallet on the C sharp, you have to make sure it has the same tone. Okay? That's if you want to be really obsessive. Cool? Again, don't just, and phrase through that. Da-dee, kind of lighter. More. Cool? Slow strokes, broad like a timpani. I play Glock the same way I play timpani. Cool? All right. After that, it's pretty straightforward. The gradual, getting those tempo differentiations is really important, and making sure they're not too drastic and not too non-noticeable. So right in the middle. So, yeah, I stick that a little different than a lot of people. I don't do doubles for that. I single it now. Just again, I like da 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 da, you know, instead of da da dee 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 da da da, you know, I like this better. Cool. Yeah, for that section also, that part I just played, some people tend to increase the tempo during that. If you're going to do it really sneak it, because you don't want to go da da dee 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 da da dee, you know. You want to do it in an organic way like the orchestra would do. So honestly, the whole thing is kind of pushing. So you don't want to just have it static in certain places. You also want to have that forward motion. And by the time you get to the trill, don't do any more a chill. Just dee da ga da ga dee da ga da ga dee da ga da ga dee. You know, because everybody else is just, in my opinion, it kind of stays there after. Once you get to that trill section, this tempo stays there, and it just increases in dynamic more than in speed. Cool. Yeah. Cool. All right. What's another one? Lemaire. I guess I should talk about Lemaire. Lemaire is really one of those pieces where if you know how to control your colors on Glock, it's really cool. If you don't, it kind of just sounds like you're playing notes on the, you know. You're just playing the rhythm. Da dee da ti ta 2 3 1 and da da ti ti ta. You know. Da ti ta ti. You know. You know, when I have like that super colorful and expressive. You know, that kind of thing. Da dee da. Da dee da. Da dee da. If you were listening really closely, I missed my weight on that last one. That's better. That's what I want. Instead of having like or something like that, you know, I want it to be very, very, very colorful and full. And the other thing about Glock, if you hit it on the same place the same way, or a different way, it's gonna be like, it's like hitting on a node almost. You gotta like, you start getting like full dampen, even with the same stroke. So if you play Glock enough, especially if you and it happens with timpani too, if you play it enough, you'll be able to feel those differences as you're playing, which is really weird. So you don't actually have to like think about it; it just kind of happens. There you go, and then something like that. 1 2 3. Cool. Deep da 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 da. You know. Deep da 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 da. Deep da 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 da. You know. Some people accent the C in the middle. So 1 2 3. And I like kind of falling off of that instead of like deep da 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 da. I like dee da da da, like dee da 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 da, like kind of like. You know, it kind of has that like wah. It's like deep da 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 da. You know. So some combination of those two. Let's see. I forgot that part. I'm sorry. Something like that. For that part, do not play it too fast. You know. Something like that. I forgot the notes. That's what happens when you stop practicing. I'm gonna be mad at myself all day for that. All right, what's another? Okay, that section, it's all articulation differences and color, making sure it's really warm. Sometimes I wouldn't use these just because of the brightness they have. So I might use maybe even the mustards, honestly. Let's see. depending, or that might be too mellow. So I had to pick a mallet that matches the color scheme that I want. But if I was doing it with these, I would. Oh, I found them. I found the ones I would use. Again, Freer. These are the Freer Gray. These are bigger ball than the OS 6s. E natural. So that's staccato, so it's very quick off of the bar. And then it's slurred, so heavy, full. Cool. So you want to be able to have those stroke type controls on here so you can make that difference. And then you know, you want to make sure you diminuendo those last ones. Again, don't play it too fast. No, you know. Cool. What's another one? Oh, I wonder if I remember that one. Let's see. I think it's a D sharp. Okay, forget which one that's called. Epiphany, Respighi's, y'all know what it is. So, the thing about that, the grace notes have to be open, and I play them kind of play them on a triplet scale of the beat. So 1 2 dig it out 2 dig it out 2 dig it out 2 3 1 2 3 1 3 round, and that last one that's closer to in between the two rhythms, I play a little bit sooner just to get there. Dig it out 2 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 da 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 dee da da da. You know, so people do it with 4 mallets. I think they probably do. D sharp. I remember that, but I don't remember. Okay. I'm still mad about that. So yeah. Just making sure that the main note, you know. You know, just making sure that comes out. And because it's a double stroke, it's gonna naturally want to snap. So again, you have to be off and warm. It's harder, but it sounds better. So, you know, and I think I didn't use these for that. I think I've always used the Dragonflies. Again, these are super warm and have a nice articulation. And it's easier for me to get a good sound on that double note with these mallets, okay? So, cool. And then again, we're back into that like loose-ish wrist with more forearm for the and I think you might even notice, like, I'm never playing anywhere close to this height. Like, my responses are close to that height. But, but I'm never, like, starting the stroke any higher than maybe this. Like, because the higher I go, the more I have to mitigate it. And unless I have enough time, I won't do that. So like, especially with these. Cool. So I let the weight give me the volume and not the height. Cool. And again, that's all from like my lower back. I don't think I ever go too. If I go to my feet, that goes too crass. Unless I'm playing in like Pittsburgh, then I have to use it. Then I'll use that weight. Cool. All right. For Speaky's Epiphany, I forget what the official title is, but that's what I always refer to it as. Let's see. What's another one? Any questions? Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I forgot to look at comments and stuff. They were a little... Let's see. Let's see. Any questions or requests? I'm trying to think of another excerpt, but I'm having trouble because I only know a couple on Glock. Or at least I only remember a couple. Sleeping Beauty I've already done. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Anybody have... Let's see. I did Pines of Rome. I just did Pines. Any specific questions about Pines? I'll post this on YouTube later on today as well. But any specific questions on Pines? Sorry with the delay. Oh, I don't know Fountains. That's the one I don't think I ever learned Fountains. Oh, I could do, Nutcracker. If ever I was, it's okay. I'll post it on YouTube later today, and you'll be able to find it. But yeah, let's see. Nutcracker. They never. It's very rare that they do this on auditions now. That one. It's hard because it's all double stops, you know. Because so you gotta be in complete control. You have to be in complete control of that stroke and making sure they both land at the same time. Then you get... Cool. If ever I'm on a committee, I'm going to ask for that one because I love it. And what I really like about whenever I do this excerpt is outlining the melody on that more active part. So da 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 da. So it's similar to what I would do in Magic Flute, having that having those two kind of separated but still connected at the same time. So I'm not like, you know, I'm not doing that. Cool. All right. I really wish I knew Fountains. Gives me something to practice in the summer. And Mother Goose. if ever I were to play Mother Goose, I would use the Dragonfly versions of those mallets if I was using aluminum. But here's another option. Another free. Actually, you know, I'll use the Musters. I think. Haven't played that in a while. Again, making sure the stroke isn't too harsh, especially because you're doing a double stop. Very weighty and full, and slow stroke. You get the idea. You know, again, don't play that one too fast. I might be playing it too fast myself. You know, it's only. I forget what the roll is, but you get the idea. When you get to the roll, slow-ish. Let's see. Where's the other mallet? There you are. To the E4. And last note is a C, I think. And making sure you're playing in the middle. You know, some people might do something weird, but you know. Last note. Cool. Yeah. Muster 215s, if you can find them. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that's Glock. Again, my main things with Glock are having enough mallets. You know, I wonder if I can actually show you. There's the other two I was looking for. Okay. Yeah, I'll see if I can take this over here. Actually, you know, I'm not going to do that because there's better Wi-Fi right here. But what I will do, I will post a picture of this, but I'm just going to show you how many I have on deck at any given time. All right. All right. Glock. This is all, well, here. Then there's a ton in Pittsburgh. Jeremy Branson is going to bring me my other bag, which I really miss because it has a lot of my fun mallets that I would use for certain things that I haven't been using because I don't have them. Like the brass Freer mallets, those are in Pittsburgh, and I love those mallets. I just didn't have enough room to bring them. But I brought all these because these are the most general mallets. Again, I say general, but there's a ton, you know, because there are different Glocks in different circumstances. So I have all of these to my disposal currently. And then whenever I get my bag, I'll have to post a picture of like all of them. Maybe I can demo them too. That might be fun. Get me out of the house. Yeah. Yeah, that's Glock. I can't think. Oh, I guess you may never ever play it in an audition, but not Kiji, Harianos on Glock. Same problem that you would have in the Respighi. That one, just making sure that everything's open and warm. Just because of how fast it is. You're basically playing the xylophone part on, you know, the Glock. And then you have Again, people use two. Make sure you have the same four. In that case, I would use the musters or something comparable. So you have. The only thing about that is because the we're gonna have the same tone that you had with the other ones. It has to be full. Something like that, and not. Again, the lower octaves are very testy, so they have to be a little heavier and slower stroke and more full to mitigate that extra articulation. So I like having that control with only two, so it's because it's easier for me to do that. Cool. I would literally just do this. Getting the same tone, like if you were playing triangle, trying to get the same tone every time. And starting with a dynamic that you can control and getting used to that. Then increasing it or decreasing it. Oops. It's really actually meditative too. So yeah. Options. Cool. All right. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton, but I can't remember them all right now. But yeah, I figured I had to do one of these. I had to come into work and get my suit to get it dry cleaned. So, although I'm not playing right now, so, which is kind of sad. But yeah, cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry this was kind of impromptu. So I'm gonna post. I'll post this on YouTube when I get home. And yeah, if you have any questions. If you're watching this now or later, just post it in the comments. It'll be on YouTube too, so YouTube also. So post on there as well. And I'm hoping tomorrow that I can do another live stream just chatting, just because I'm gonna be finally releasing the book. I'm supposed to talk to my last copy option or copier option on tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about that tomorrow and then Wednesday is the first chemo day. So wish me luck, and I'll keep you guys informed through various sources. I probably won't be posting for a while after that. I'll just be tired, and I might not want y'all to see me. So you know how that goes. But yeah, thanks for all the support, guys. Can't wait to talk about the book either maybe today or tomorrow. And yeah, this is gonna be fun. All right, thanks guys. Love you. See you later.